Good afternoon. Welcome to the April 19th meeting of the New York State Bridge Authority. My name is Francis Vasilio. I'm the chair. I'm joined at the table by Commissioner Rod Dressel, Commissioner Vane Lashua, Commissioner Roger Higgins, Deputy Executive Director Tara Sullivan, Commissioner Joe Ramalia, Commissioner Richard Gerentine, Vice Chair Richard Gerentine, our Attorney Gif Whitbeck, and our Executive Director Joe Ruggiero. And I think I got all the names right this one.
Yeah, did well.
The first item on our agenda is to adopt the minutes of our March 15th meeting. Do I have a motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next, we have Mr. Russo to speak to us.
Good afternoon. The only item I have on the agenda is requesting your authorization for an overnight travel request for me to attend the Easy Pass Group's bi-monthly meeting being held in June, and it's being combined with our annual planning session. So it's over a 2-day period, June 13th and 14th, and it's being hosted at the Delaware River Joint Toll Bridge Commission offices in New Hope, Pennsylvania.
You have to promise we won't see pictures on the internet of you in a hot tub.
Chances are you won't see me in a hot tub.
Chances.
Good chance.
Is there a motion on the resolution to authorize this travel?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Mr. Moreau,
All right, good afternoon.
most of our work today.
Yeah, we got a healthy agenda today. All right, our first item was a tree removal project. We bid for removing the larger trees underneath the walkway. You have the results of the bids there. The low bidder, Rick Turk's Tree Service, submitted his WMBE utilization plan asking for a full waiver. He's asking not to have any participation by women or minority business, which of course is in conflict with our directive this year, and of course our bid documents that were pretty clear on that point. So the second low bidder has full compliance with the WMBE plan and is themselves a woman-owned business, advanced contracting concept. So we'd like to recommend award to the second low bidder, rejecting the request for waiver from Rick Tree Services non-responsive, and award the job to Advanced Contracting Concepts in the amount of $54,899.50.
What's the need to remove the trees? Are they just encroaching on?
They're growing right through the steel. They're underneath.
Coming up through the
Right.
walkway itself. Okay.
Yep, they're becoming a hazard.
So there's a motion to award
Is
the
this mostly
contract.
on the east side?
Yes, there are some trees over on the west side, but most of it's in Poughkeepsie.
So the motion would mean that we award the contract to the low responsible bidder, which would be Advanced Contracting Concepts. Is there a motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next up, we opened bids at 11 o'clock this morning for the Newburgh lead abatement and repainting project. This is the second half, more or less. We painted 40% of the bridge in the first 2-year assignment. This is anticipated to be a 3-year assignment to paint the rest of the bridge. I handed out the results earlier. Once again, the low bidder didn't really pan out. They called within 2 hours after the bid opening and asked if they could withdraw their bid because they made a $10 million mistake. We agree with their analysis that a mistake has been made here. The costs were not consistent with the rest of the bids. And to expedite the project and to move the project ahead, we'd recommend award to the second low bidder, Kiska Contracting. They've done a number of projects in the city. I talked with the Port Authority and the MTA. They have a good reputation in the industry. They do more than painting. They're a large company. They have $20 million project with New York State down in the city renovating a full bridge, as well as a couple of $20 million paint jobs. One for the city and one for New York State. So they have a good reputation. They have a very aggressive price. It's also 25% below our estimate, but they were only about $200,000 below the third low bidder. So they were in very close competition. So we'd like to recommend award to Kiska Contracting in the amount of $19,850.
Was the firm that did the first phase of the project on this list?
Yeah, that was Allied. They bid, I think, $26 million. So,
Okay, is there a motion on the resolution to award the contract to Kiska as the low responsible bidder?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
thank you. Next up, TransDign has been our system integrator, designer more or less for the first port security grant. We awarded them a supplemental agreement, I think, last month to do a prototype installation of some video analytic equipment to enhance our security system, and it was a very successful installation here at Mid-Hudson. So I handed out earlier a proposal basically to handle the whole project like a design-build assignment, although, of course, the Bridge Authority will be involved throughout. So they would design these enhancements, procure the equipment, hire the contractor to install conduit and light poles and whatever else needs to be installed. And then the Bridge Authority will be providing some in-kind services and buying some equipment directly. So the proposal we have to look at today for TransDign is $994,447 out of the $1.2 million grant. So they'll basically be our one-stop service consultant. And this way we can expedite the work and complete the job under the original, we're hoping to complete the job under the original time frame, which in January we were informed was very rigid and would not be extended, but recently there's been some cracks in the time limit. We may be able to obtain an extension, but right now we're planning on no extension, and this is a good method to get it done as fast as possible. So we're asking for your approval on TransDign's proposal.
So a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next up, the security consultant. We met with two security consultants individually, reviewed our command center and our needs to develop an overall strategy and help staff the command center. We only received one cost proposal back because of our aggressive schedule to get this study completed. HNTB is a firm I've known for over 25 years. They've worked for the Bridge Authority on a number of assignments, all successful assignments. So we don't want to advertise this opportunity publicly and open our kimono on all the systems that we have right now for confidentiality reasons and security reasons. So we'd like to recommend award of this assignment to HNTB in the amount of $96,300. Thanks. Yes, I am.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you. Next up, we have a on-call, we call it standby readiness contract. I.N.O. Slutsky was awarded this 2 years ago under a competitive, publicly offered opportunity. We've exhausted the money that we had in there last year with the deck repairs on Newburgh. So we'd like to increase the not-to-exceed limit for this contract for another year's worth of work here. This should be the last year of deck repairs at Newburgh as we get into the two capital improvement projects down there. So we keep track of the work on a time and material basis. He gets paid, hourly for equipment and based on the work he does. So this is just a budget number for pre-approval status.
We have a long time standing with this organization anyway.
Yep.
I move.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next up, our navigation light replacement project on the walkway over the Hudson is almost finished in the design phase. We awarded this assignment also through a competitive advertised opportunity, not only to the design and prepare bid documents to install these lights, but to go through the grant approval process with New York State DOT. And that apparently we didn't do a very good job estimating how much effort there would be back and forth with DOT and the review. We had to go talk to the fish people, the historic people. I mean, we're not even in the river with these navigation lights. They'll be installed from up above. We're replacing existing lights, same place, hardwired instead of solar powered is the big difference. But it's been many months going back and forth with the DOT. We held a public meeting last week as part of the grant process. 2 women came.
No fish.
They wanted to sell us LED lights. but anyway, it's been a long process, and we didn't anticipate that, neither did the consultant. So we are just about through the woods with that, but the consultant has submitted a request for an additional $29,000 in labor costs on their end to bring the total to $97,200. So George and I have reviewed their request, and we agree it's reasonable.
Is there a motion?
I move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Before you move on to your last thing, Bill, there was one resolution we skipped over. For some reason,
yeah.
it's not listed on the
You're right.
agenda. It's the part of the Port 2 grant, which authorizes the implementation of the non-reimbursable portion. Yeah,
That was the single resolution I handed out.
yeah.
So basically, like we did last year with Greg's reporting on the grant expenditures, we're asking the board to modify our procurement process, to allow.
Anyway, we got 2 different ones.
We have Trans 9994. We did that,
That one we did, this one.
right? And that's
So you're doing this one, okay.
this one that I
230?
forgot, right? That's the balance of the money in the $1.2 million grant.
right.
So we'll do material procurement or in-kind services, right here with the authorities, maintenance forces.
Is there a motion on that resolution?
So move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And our jobs in progress will be very busy next month. There's not really any activity at the moment other than the prototype installation for the security system.
Unless we get snow, right?
Right?
Still holding on up?
No, I did go skiing last month. I got the last run in, I think. All right, thank you very much.
Cable bridge operator.
Oh, right. I guess that's later on the agenda, but we are hosting an international suspension bridge operators workshop in May. We have about 24 people responded. We got 8 more today. We have representatives from Japan, China, Denmark, Scotland, quite a few places. And then, of course, New York City.
I didn't mean
Delaware.
to move it. I didn't realize it was
California.
back here. I thought it was your.
So you're all invited if you'd like to join us at the Hotel Thayer and chat with other suspension bridge. They're not sending their board, they're sending their engineers, but it's a
So again, we wouldn't understand what you did.
good group.
Just the magnetic energy.
So it's a good group, and we do share quite a bit of information. It's comes in handy for long-range planning for suspension bridge stuff, so should be great. Thanks.
Thank you.
Mr. Bushek.
Good afternoon. Okay. First item up is the monthly investment report. We had made 5 investments in the month of March. The normal debt service, 3 in the maintenance reserve, 2 of which came from additional toll proceeds associated with the revenue increase. And the last is to the revenue fund to put some money away for year-end bills. On the next page, the investment inventory reflects those investments. Basically, I want to note that while the maintenance reserve fund ended the year at 4.6, it has now grown to 6.8 and continues to rise every month. It's very nice because we had gotten pretty low in that fund. Other than that, basically yields were approximately 1.13. There was an extra day in February, so it's somewhat it's nicer over what we had had in a normal 28-day month, but nothing else exceptional to note.
Motion to accept the investment report.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Okay, next up is the Accident Review Committee report. In first quarter 2012, there were 21 accidents on authority facilities compared to the previous year of 51. It should be noted that in January of this year, there were 5 fewer major snowstorms, which drove a lot of the accidents last year. In addition, relative to authority vehicles, we had no accidents involving authority vehicles and personnel that were an issue this year, whereas we had 5 last year. Okay, no action is required by the board. It's just for information purposes. Okay, the next item. This is kind of a last element of the year-end 2011. What we've normally done is to show the 12 months ending, how we've trended year over year in specific categories. Looking at traffic, we were down by 1.3% in both passenger and commercial, whereas in toll revenue we were down by 1.13%, and that was contributed almost equally, about $200,000 apiece from both passenger and commercial. Operating expenses, we were higher, but I want to note why we were higher. As many of you remember, we took on the walkway over the Hudson, and unlike other bridges that we basically support, we do not maintain the walkway in such a way that the accounting principles allow us to not depreciate it. So we now depreciate the walkway, and that caused $1.7 million in operating expenses $1.6 million in operating expenses for 2011. The rest of the increase, noting that that's incremental expenditure that wasn't there, nor was a plan in the budget. We had approximately $100,000 incremental insurance costs. So that's what really drove our year-over-year increase. On the reduction side, we had both $590,000 in salaries and $486,000 in employee benefits that offset that increase. Additionally, operating expenses were $26.8 million for 2011 that we had budgeted. We came in at 27.4, but we should again note the $1.7 million was due to the walkway, which was not budgeted. Lastly, the authority's 5-year capital plan budgeted $21 million. We had actual costs of approximately $15.3 million. We had delayed a few jobs, including Mid-Hudson Approach Overlay, Newburgh Beacon North Span Overlay, the Night Watch project, and that was offset by increases in expenditures of approximately $1.5 million to the walkway over the Hudson. Again, this report is for information purposes as well. No action by the board is required.
And we're posting it on our website.
Thank you.
Is there any narrative that goes with what you posted?
I hadn't been putting one up.
I just wondered would we be able to just note in a footnote or whatever the total increase was more than made up for by the addition of the new walkway bridge? Is that?
I actually tried to note that in the short narratives that I stuck on the bottom of that. Okay, it is
And
there.
that's on the website?
I believe the whole thing is on the website.
This is posted as part of our preliminary board packet posting of information, and we'll follow up. Is this posted as part of the Paris requirement?
No, it's not required, but this would have been noted as in a variance analysis on Paris.
So it has been previously noted along with the rest of our financial documents. Yes.
Okay.
Well, the health insurance figure, you see the salary on it. The health insurance figure there, I mean, look at the salaries and then look what the health insurance costs are, what percentage of that is scary.
Yes, there was
For all of them.
Yeah.
there were a lot of reductions there. Remembering in the 2010 retirement incentive, we lost 20 employees. That would have been in the earlier part of the contract, so the contribution percentage was substantial. Note that this is not only health insurance, but also retirement.
Oh,
Okay? So really, employee benefits would consolidate everything from health insurance, retirement, assorted.
okay, I'm looking at it being 20, it's approaching 50 ample.
Yes,
Okay.
it's a substantial amount of money.
Okay, we're doing information technology next. Mr. Hurd.
Good afternoon. So I've got our jobs in progress report. We had done a camera procurement for replacing defective cameras. They had been received and are now 50% installed. We anticipate the remainder to be installed over the next couple of weeks, and we should be done with that. New on the list is the Mid-Hudson Bridge and Newburgh Beacon Bridge video system upgrades. This is part of the Grant 1 project to bring those systems in line with the other three bridges. We're finished with procurement and waiting to receive product. Once received, it will be installed. And that leads me on to the next item on this memo. And you had given Joe Ruggiero authorization for procurement of up to $1.7 million in equipment under Grant 1. We had expenditures of $286,023.77 this month. And other than ancillary items like cabling, nuts and screws, we are pretty much finished with purchasing for the grant. And there is a resolution that goes along with this.
So moved.
Second? All in favor? Aye. Now, will the night watch fall under your, is that part of the IT?
No, it's not part of the grant per se.
No, I know it's not part of the grant.
But there is integration into the, command center, and so it's, a multi-department effort to bring everything up and online.
We're able to use all that equipment.
Oh, absolutely.
For the security to
Absolutely.
deal with it.
Thank you.
Operations.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Ferguson.
I am here to correct my earlier error. February board meeting, the board approved a contract with TTI for some upgrades related to Night Watch, and unfortunately, I assigned that the wrong contract number, pointed out to be me by Mr. Bushick. So this resolution, in effect, rescinds the earlier one from February and assigns the correct contract number.
This is just a technical correct.
So it's just
Some of it.
just a
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
The executive director.
No expense report.
And the traffic classification report that we received shows an increase in traffic of 6% over all the,
Well, we had a very nice winter,
Yeah.
but we're beginning to see some effects with the $4 a gallon gas. We don't know if it's gonna be a long plateauing, but it's beginning to have an impact on traffic counts.
and I guess at some point we'll have enough data in to start to look to see whether anyone can make an argument that the changes in toll. Two of these 3 months, we're gonna be old, right?
Only one of the 3 months we're running the toll.
January.
And
Just
actually,
January was under
Just
that?
January, we implemented the toll on January 30th, so not even a full month. January, we were up 10% almost by itself, so we're actually doing very well. On a traffic basis alone, we're up year over year. And that wouldn't be impacted, obviously, by the toll increase.
And the big increase in the revenues due to the toll increase, which is why Brian's so happy that our maintenance reserve fund is increased.
So is Bill.
Bill's ecstatic, yes.
Under new business, the AED project.
Sure. Sure. Most state agencies, as you probably know, and certainly public places, schools, that kind of thing, equip their buildings with defibrillators. And the Bridge Authority doesn't own one. So we took a look at what actually constitutes a need for one. We found that we more than justify the need in every building. So we took a look at what that meant in regulation, equipment, support, training, and shopped, got the best price, and now we're ready to go forward.
So to put 5 of these, one at each bridge location would be 18,000.
It's actually more than 5. It's 11.
Oh, so there's
And
one at the
so
headquarters.
it's
and one at
almost,
the bridge.
it's 2 per bridge,
Okay.
except for Bear Mountain. You have to have 4 to 7 minute time span to get to the machine for it to actually manifest in being helpful. So at the Bear Mountain Bridge, we only need 1, but everybody else needs 2.
Is there a motion on the resolution?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I just want to mention, there was a big story in the Albany paper about a Little League kid got hit, his heart stopped, and there was a quick response by the coaches and then our local sheriff's deputy or police officer who responded very quickly, and then he's in good shape now. It actually stopped his heart from being hit.
The machines now are so sensitive and so easy to use that it actually monitors the body and lets you know if the body needs a shock. It delivers a shock that is according to body weight. So they're almost foolproof and very helpful.
Is there a doctor supervisor? There's supposed to be some sort of a doctor supervisor.
We will have to affiliate with one of the doctors that work with one of the local fire departments or paramedic outfits.
Now, would our staff be trained to do it themselves, or it would be
Yes.
available for?
Yes, we've already trained, I think, 36 people in CPR in the past few months, and now we'll begin to train for defib support training.
The only other thing I have is a note from Commissioner Lashua, who wants to make a note, information to everyone.
I wanted to this is just a point of information. I was at a meeting of Friends of Clearwater in New York last week and met a man named Cy Adler, who was the founder of the Shore Walkers group in Manhattan. It's a group that on May 1st, every year for 32 years, I think it is, has promoted a walk around Manhattan, to walk around Manhattan. In this book, he's written the second edition to Walking the Hudson, which involves walking across the George Washington Bridge and then up the west shore of the Hudson to the Bear Mountain Bridge. And one of the things I was going to recommend was that I would like to supply some of the books to the Bear Mountain office, and also go up to the Bear Mountain Lodge and have them stock some copies. He's sold it there before, I think. He was unclear about that. But it's just what I found about it was there are a lot of exploring the Hudson, history of the Hudson, yap books, but this one actually has nice maps, instructions. If you've ever tried to get onto the George Washington Bridge from Manhattan to walk across, the first time is an adventure. And this is very clear about how to do that and how to get up. And it's also, like I said, May 1st, you can contact shorewalkers.org, and you could walk any part of Manhattan. You don't have to do 32 miles. You can do 3 miles or whatever it is. It's just and he continues to do that. Like I said, it's very much promoted or suggested.
There's no other business. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
All in favor?
Thank you, guys.